Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome board member, the Clinton Foundation, Chelsea Clinton.
I have a theme song. Oh, thank you. I didn't know I got music. That was kind of great. I guess I get music now when I walk out. That has to be a sign of something. I'm so happy and excited to welcome all of you to the Clinton Global Initiative University 2013 here at Washington University in St. Louis. And thank you to all the Washington University students for allowing us to invade your campus. As you saw in the video, my father started the Clinton Global Initiative in 2005 to help reorient the conversation around all of our urgent challenges, whether it be in public health or climate change or poverty alleviation, from sort of what needs to happen to how do we do what needs to happen? How do we prioritize what needs to happen? How do we measure impact of what we're doing? How do we double down on our successes? How do we become more comfortable being honest about our failures and walking away from those? And how do we ensure that the how is at the center of every conversation about every challenge that we see in our neighborhoods or on another continent or confronting our global community? And then we started CGI U a few years later because we believe that young people have a vital role in answering all of those questions. And that may seem uncontroversial to all of us in this room tonight. After all, we're all here. And there's probably a pretty strong selection bias that we believe that young people can and should be empowered to make a difference. But that's not a truth universally acknowledged. There are a lot of people who believe that you have to wait until maybe your hair is a little bit more my father's color than our color to make a difference. And we just couldn't disagree with that more strongly. And we think that CGI U is the greatest repudiation to that. Over its first 5 years, we've had more than 4,500 students representing more than 750 colleges and universities from more than 130 countries in every state in America. And even more amazing than that demographic statistic is that students have made more than 3,500 commitments. You heard many of them in the video just now. Students kind of rethinking what a soccer ball can be used for so that it's not only used for play, but also can be used for a rechargeable battery so that 3 hours of electricity can be generated so kids can study at night, so it's safer for women to cook food for their families at night. That's remarkable. Many of the people in this room here today have already made awe-inspiring commitments to think about how to use SMS technology so that girls and women can get the reproductive health information they need when maybe their schools or their societies don't want them to even ask those questions. People who are building programs to help communities here in the United States and around the world be safer for LGBT youth. And one of the things that we are relentless and radically committed to at CGI and CGI U is helping people think about how to measure their impact. And one of the things that I'm really excited about this year is that you all of us will hear about previous CGI U commitment makers reporting on the progress against their commitments, on the lessons they've learned of how maybe they had to change what they were doing to better achieve their end ambition, how each sort of minor setback actually just increased the chances of their ultimate success. And I hope that all of you know how committed all of us are to helping each one of you make good on your commitments, because we don't have any time to waste in our world. And we don't have any time to waste in our country. The average life expectancy for the most vulnerable women in America has decreased in the last decade. There's still more than 5 million kids around the world every year who perish of diseases that are completely preventable. More than 1 million die of diarrhea alone. And I know there's some clean water commitments here in the room tonight. And we know that not only is it unacceptable in the 21st century that people still die of diarrhea, and I love talking about diarrhea, so if anyone wants to talk about it, come and find me. Because I'm a big believer that those of us that can do things should do things, and that's something that makes some people squeamish, but not me, so I like talking about it a lot. So I'm serious. If you're interested in it, come and find me. But we are losing ground in ways that are unacceptable in the 21st century, partly because it was unimaginable in the 20th. We know we have no time to waste, and we know we all need to be in a single conversation with all of our catalytic, crazy ideas. And we all know that we need to learn from each other's skills and talents and experiences. And so I hope that you'll come to the plenary sessions, starting with the one here tonight, and listen to how different people have thought about how to start something, how to build something, how to reorient something, how always, though, to be relentlessly focused on the how. I hope you'll go to the skills session to learn about how best to leverage social media to evangelize about your message, if that's what you need to do, to identify the best partners to drive your action forward, if that's what you need to do. I hope you'll go to the entrepreneurial one-on-one sessions, the office hours, probably different than the office hours you generally go to on your campuses, and ask questions and get advice and get feedback from people who really just want you to succeed. I certainly hope you're going to come to the final closing session with Stephen Colbert, because it's also important that this is fun. Because these are really big challenges, and they can be really daunting, and it can be easy to get discouraged, but we don't have time to be discouraged. And so I hope that you'll realize it's not an accident that we close with Colbert. It is important that this is fun, particularly given that you are young. And so if you think this work is fun and meaningful, and you derive the same type of joy that we do from making a difference in our neighbors' lives or in people whose names we'll never even know because they live on a continent across the world, the sooner that you believe that, the more of that work you can fit into your lives. And ultimately, I hope you'll go back to your colleges and your university campuses, and you'll talk to your friends. You'll talk to the people who you sit across from in computer science or in English class about why you made your commitment. And I hope that you'll encourage them to do the same. Because you've realized something that is often unachievable for people of any age, anywhere. I think that too frequently when people have ideas, they're often dismissed. People think, oh, that's silly. I'm the only one that cares about this. I'm the only one that thinks kind of that may work to solve this challenge. And while that is somewhat understandable and is often construed as humility, I don't think that's humility. I think it's self-defeat. Whereas some people might say what you've done, to take your idea, to unleash it into the world, to boldly express it in a commitment, to spend a weekend here kind of with a lot of earnest do-gooders is arrogance. But that's not arrogance. That's integrity. And I think that it also demonstrates a lot of courage. And clearly, by definition of your being here, it demonstrates a lot of commitment. So I hope that you'll learn a lot this weekend. I hope you'll have a lot of fun. I hope you'll do what I did when I was in college and drink lots of coffee and not sleep at all. And I hope that you'll go home not only kind of more edified in knowing that you can achieve your commitments, knowing how you're going to make that specific difference, but also feeling a responsibility to help your friends and your colleagues make the commitments that we all know are inside each and every one of them. So thank you for being here, and welcome not only to CGI U, but welcome to CGI U again at Washington University in St. Louis. Because WashU, and I feel like, we're on good enough terms now that I can call it WashU. Like, I can do that colloquialism. Like, we're friends now. Really embodies not only kind of the driving ethos of CGI U, of being committed to turning intentions into actions, but also into the motivating purpose of CGI U, kind of empowering what is too frequently called the next generation of leaders, but really are currently the leaders that we need to have in every important conversation. From the Gephardt Institute for Public Service that is teaching kind of the mechanics and the methodology of service, to the thousands of hours that WashU students spend every school year giving back to the local community here in St. Louis and East St. Louis, to the groundbreaking work that's being done on public health that has implications for climate change questions and poverty alleviation questions at the medical center, and to the university-wide commitment to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by more than 20% by 2020. I mean, WashU really is an example for colleges and universities, not only here in the United States, but around the world. And just like, I mean, I wouldn't be here without my dad. That's probably pretty self-evident. But none of us would be here at CGI U without my father. None of us would be here, probably at WashU, without the Chancellor. And so now I'd like to ask Chancellor Mark Wrighton to come to the stage.